Hi, I'm Dr. Eric Wilson. In the firm that I work in, we develop science technologies for aluminum and carbon fiber products. We have various processes where we use heating ovens and other things as well to be able to work with our materials. And we ran into a problem. The problem we ran into is how do we control our heating element and be able to still run and test on the materials that we need to be able to do. And it's not your typical oven. It was a little different configuration, and we needed to figure out how we can attack that. Turns out that it proved to be a National Instruments issue, not an issue, but a problem that was resolved best with a National Instruments solution. And that is not something that we've worked with in the past. Therefore, rather than immersing an inordinate amount of time and also losing the money that we needed to bring ourselves up to speed and educate ourselves on that, it was simpler to go find a consultant that could help us do that. And as we looked around, we looked for various consultants. First, we tried the university, because you always think that universities have the first people that are accessible to that. And there are various people that are accessible. However, they were not available. And their availability was very different than our timeline, and so that didn't quite work for us. Then we turned to industry and tried to find various people there that could help us. We found 3 or 4 other consultants that could have come. Their response was slow. Some of them didn't get back to us. And when they did, the prices were far too high. And so what we did is by accident, just one of us started Googling and seeing what we could find online. And we found the ReadyDAQ group. And as they went through the website, it explained how they are partnered with National Instruments. And we took that into consideration, talked about that together, and came to the conclusion that perhaps these would be the best guys to go with. It looked on paper, online, they looked like a really good group to go with. So we decided to take that next step, because here we were under pressure. We had budget restrictions, we had time restrictions. We really needed to get this problem solved. And so as we took the next step, we went ahead and called ReadyDAQ, and they came over. We spoke with them first we spoke with them on the phone, and they passed that benchmark. They were very easy to speak with. They knew what they were talking about, very reasonable in their timeline and their financial considerations as well. And so we said, okay, let's take it to the next step then. Let's do it face-to-face. Brought them into our facility. They signed an NDA, so we had no problems with being able to show them the technology that we're working with, and actually they were quite easy to work together with. As we continued to develop this, they proposed a solution, which is with their ReadyDAQ system, where they could get us up and running just in a number of days. The cost was very attractive, and we said, let's go ahead and try it, after we were able to consult by ourselves for a little bit and figure it out and see how that met with our financial constraints as well. Turns out that we enjoyed it, we liked it, and we told them, let's go ahead and do this. And in a matter of a couple of days, they were able to have us up and running. Let's see what we have going here. The system was functional, and we were able to start testing and working with the things that we need to work with. Our particular solution involved a PWM to run an SCR, and the solution that we were given by ReadyDAQ was off the shelf, but it was a very viable solution. We're extremely pleased with it. In the time frame that we set out for them, they kept to their time frame. They kept to the budget that we had allotted for it. And when we left, we had the product that we wanted. And so I would highly recommend working with ReadyDAQ. If you need a National Instruments solution, the ReadyDAQ solution wasn't off the shelf exactly what we needed. As we started looking into it and started working with the ReadyDAQ group, we learned that we wanted to tweak this feature, and we wanted to then change this feature just a tad. And as it goes in engineering, if we can change these features, then it becomes more customized and focused on the solution that we need as our group. We talked to the ReadyDAQ group and asked them about these features and the ability to tweak things as they go. And with the exception of just adding a few consulting hours to the standard price, they were happy to help that and do that for us. And as we did that and worked together, we found that they stayed within the budget that we had allotted for them, and the solution was beautiful. We enjoyed having a customized solution from an off-the-shelf product. One of the reasons that our project needed to have a specific National Instruments applied solution It's because we weren't dealing with just reading thermocouples. You know, you have a thermocouple, you have two thermocouples, great. You read a CT to find out how much electricity you have flowing into your oven and stuff. That's fine. That's the kind of stuff you do with a regular DAQ system. What we needed is we needed pressure measurement, we needed temperature measurement, we needed, which includes analog input, analog outputs, digital ins and outs as well, and we needed a PWM, and then after that, after the PWM, we needed to put in a PID. Because with the PWM, you get your on-off switching the entire time, and the on-off switching is good and fine, you can control it. But when you add your PID, then you know you have a ramp that you can add into there. You can have a start up, a start down, and just a better control of the system, heating system completely. It was because of the complications that were added from these various aspects, especially in the controls, to be able to read the pressure, the temperature, and be able to put that into the PID and use that to control the system. That's part of the solution that we didn't have. That's part of the solution that we got from ReadyDAQ and that we need to be able to run our project. And because of the expertise that ReadyDAQ had and the willingness that they were to be able to tweak their system to make it go where we needed it to go, and their ability to stay in the budget, I would recommend ReadyDAQ to anybody that needs to work with them. As a technology development firm, we have to be customer focused. We have to be oriented to make sure that the technology we're working on gets out the door. And in times like that, when you're dealing projects and working in that type of a narrow direction, when you have a problem like we had, where we ended up going with the ReadyDAQ group, you really want somebody that's going to be your partner. You want somebody that's going to work beside you, work with you, make it easy for you to be able to continue focusing on your partners. Like I said earlier, we didn't have time to step back and develop all of National Instruments' technology, or at least the programs and such that we needed to be able to run and measure what we needed to measure. And that's why ReadyDAQ was such a good solution for us. If you see here, it comes with a fairly usable screen. You can come in, you can compare numbers, you can compare your graphs as they're going, or you can do your input-output configurations. Personally, I like to look at the numbers because it tells me it's alive and it's actually moving. I was able to take the numbers and we put those into a separate file, which we could then analyze with other software that we have and do our comparisons as well and understand exactly what we're doing with each run that we do on our system. The ReadyDAQ system was very easy to use, and because of this, and because it was customizable to have the front screen look like what we need it to be, then it made our lives easier. It made us more successful in our projects and being able to satisfy our customers. And our customers were very satisfied because we were able to keep things within the timeline and within the budget.